All right, now we're going to look at chunk 2. What you did for chunk 1 was to find 2 articles that pertain to your topic. You highlighted, you annotated, you thought about it, you started putting things in your own words that you might be able to use. It also gave you a lot of good ideas. So now you have a better idea of which direction you would like to go and where you're going to find a lot more stuff. So at this point, I want to caution you, do not try to make the information that you have, don't try to force it into what you think it should be. Follow the volume of information that's out there. Look for where the most voluminous group of information is seeming to lead you, and follow that, because I guarantee you that the more stuff you have, the easier your paper is going to be to write. So in looking at all of the ideas for your article or for your paper in those 2 articles, you should now have a little bit better idea of which direction to go. So now you're going to do the exact same thing you did before, but you're going to do 3 new authors that have written 3 different articles. So now you're going to follow a direction. You're going to find 3 new articles that are written by 3 new authors. Now here's what you need to make sure of, that they back up something or add details to something that you are considering in your thesis. The thesis is the idea that you and I discussed. Now remember, that thesis is a working thesis, which means that it's going to change. That's just a fact of life. So you're going to do the exact same thing that you did for chunk 1. You're going to either print in or you're going to upload articles, highlighting, underlining, handwriting, typing, whatever it is, on these 3 new articles with 3 new authors. Then you're also going to include the full MLA citation for each one. You can just stick it on the bottom of the page. You can put it on a separate page if you want. I would suggest that keeping all of your citations on a separate page, on a separate document, is going to serve you well, because later on you're going to have them for what is called a works cited page, which is where you just list all of those. Okay? So that would probably be your best bet, is to keep them on a separate page. But for this particular chunk, for chunk 2, I don't care if they're on the same page or not. Things to remember: you are not the expert. So make sure that you get experts and you have paraphrased them, because they are the strength in your argument. You're going to cite them every time you use anything that comes from them. Before you paraphrase them, before anything, you're going to introduce them so that we know why they are an expert. Okay, make sure you have credible sources, no blogs, no .orgs. .org doesn't mean anything. Remember, it has to come from KYVL, PBS, a .gov, or a .edu. .org means nothing. I can buy a .org and put a bunch of junk on there. That does not mean that it is credible. Blogs are not credible. Here's why. They may be written by somebody who is awesome, but if nobody has ever edited, peer edited, published that work, you can't be sure that what's in there is correct. Nobody else has gone through it. Everybody makes mistakes. But if you have 2 or 3 people who are checking for your mistakes, fact checking and editing, etc., then you are going to be a credible source at that point. Also, anonymous is not an author. If you have a .gov website, though, a lot of people do this, they will have a government institution that has put something on a website. That's fine, because the people who work for that government institution have produced that. So the Department of the Interior can be listed as an author. Don't quote anybody. Paraphrase. You cannot just go paraphrase after paraphrase after paraphrase, though. So what you're doing is you are researching, you are reading, and you are combining information to make your point.